All right, hello again, folks. We're back out on the water, carp fishing today. We didn't have anything to do, so I've been trying out some new rigs lately, just playing around and stuff, and we thought we'd come out here and have a little bit of fun trying them out. So here's the first one. We've got I've got some pretty heavy line on here, so you can see a little bit better. You've got your Burns double alternate hair rig. If you want to see how to tie that, you should click the link that hopefully my cameraman will remember to put in the video. Anyway, so we've pretty much got our Burns double alternate hair rig. The only adjustments I've made, first of all, I put a little split shot about an inch above the hooks on both things. I already put corn on this one, but anyway, and that's just so you have a little more weight, so that way it rotates better. You don't get tangled up as much, because if you tried out our first rig, you might have noticed it can get tangled from time, every now and then. Anyway, the only difference is that on the Burns double alternate hair rig, we just had a sliding sinker. Like, you just had your main line and a sliding sinker after this first little beauty. Now we've got I would say about 3 inches of line to another 3-way swivel. And one thing that I noticed, I tied all this up and then I realized something. You don't really need another 3-way swivel here. You could, if you know how to tie a dropper knot, you could just use a dropper knot. But anyway, you need some way to get another line off right here to a pretty heavy weight. I don't know how heavy this is exactly. I think it's like 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces. Anyway, pretty heavy though for like freshwater fishing and like ponds and stuff. Anyway, the point to this is that now it operates pretty much the same way. It's going to be sitting on the bottom. But when a carp scoops this up and takes it, it's like I said, carp are very weight sensitive and hook sensitive. So when they feel this weight, they're going to react. And I've made this mistake. I know a lot of people make this mistake. People think that when they react, they spit the hook back out, but they don't. What they really do is just run, because I guess it's like a natural instinct, they just run with it. And so they're gonna feel this heavy weight almost right away because the line is so short to it. And they're just gonna run with the hook, and since we're using circle hooks, it's gonna be pretty likely that they're just gonna set themselves. So anyway, you got your double alternate hair rig here. Pretty easy to put on corn. You just put it on this second hook, load it up with about 3 or 4 pieces, depending on how big your hook is. Don't make it too big. Carp don't have very big mouths. And it's a little later in the summer, and that might mean that, I hate to say it, might mean that we catch less fish, because carp spawn in the spring, and after that they just feed until winter, and they feed so they can bulk up and survive the winter, the cold. And so once it starts to get cooler, it's still pretty hot outside, but we're getting towards the end of summer, so they might not be feeding as much. And if they are feeding, they're probably not, hanging out on the top anymore, because the heat doesn't get up so high anymore. So anyway, that's our first rig. Pretty similar to what we normally do. And then we've got our second rig here, which is interesting. Pretty much, I've got really heavy line on here once again. I was inspired by the idea of, a trot line, like a trot line for catfish, because a trot line, pretty much, it's a rope. Every 20 feet, a piece of rope comes off of the rope, and there's a hook on it, and that goes on for about 300 feet. So you've got all these hooks on this rope, and it's for catfish. And the catfish, there's like a piece of chicken liver or fish or something on the hook, and they take the hook, they set themselves, and then you come back the next day, and you got a catfish. It's pretty lazy fishing. So anyway, this was inspired by a trot line. Pretty much what it is, about every foot I tied a dropper knot, and this one is really small. I purposely made them kind of small so that they wouldn't be too big, they'd still be pretty close to the line. pretty much what a dropper knot does is bring a little loop down off of your main line, and I have a hook on the little loop. And the reason that I did that was so that I could take corn, and like I said, you never want to have any weight on your main hook when you're carp fishing. So you're going to take your corn and you're going to put it on the hook and then down onto that little loop, so that the weight doesn't, you know, the corn, it isn't on the hook, it's on the little loop that the hook is attached to. And that way they're going to suck up the corn right here, and the hook is still going to be free floating and set it. And so about, like I said, about every foot you've got a little dropper knot with a hook on it. I put 4 hooks on, but I mean, I guess you could really do however many you wanted. And so you end it. I have 4 hooks, and then I have a swivel up here because I tied this separately from my main line. And then I have this heavy 2.5 ounce weight on the end. So once again, they're gonna feel it and run with the bait. So those are our 2 setups. We're gonna try them out. Once again, you know, we're just gonna chum the water with some whole kernel corn right out in front of us, and wait between 5 and 20 minutes. And then we're gonna cast out and see what we can reel in. So we'll get back to you as soon as there are some fish on. All right, we got it. Daniel finally got a I mean, we just cast out and got a fish. It's been like 10 minutes. Where's the line? All right, look at that hardcore rod and Daniel, because I can't really see where the fish is.
It's right there.
There it is.
Oh, it's delicious. You should probably go get the net, because that's how delicious this fish is.
All right, I'm gonna get the net and do like good camera skills while I do it, so Daniel doesn't be like a bad person. Oh,
noise.
Noise. All right, come on. Trying to keep it G-rated. Oh, no.
Por favor.
Por favor. Did I get him? Oh, I got him.
I think that's a good one.
He's pretty heavy. All right. Fish on. Maybe. I saw this thing about these people in Europe who use like unsetting mats. So maybe we shouldn't put them on the asphalt. People might get offended. Take the camera.
Okay.
Fish on! Oh, look at that perfect hook set.
I know it was perfect because I did it myself.
It's on the outside of the mouth.
Exactly. Perfection.
Don't you hate how they bleed so much? Normal fish, if you hook them around the mouth, they don't bleed. At least this much.
Carp are special. Carp. We just set the hole down.
They have a lot of blood because they're majestic fish. Oh, God. Okay, we'll get back to you. All right. It's a pretty nice fish, actually. It's a 2-handed fish, so it's not like a little...
2 hands?
It's not a little dinker. I would say it's between 5 and 7 pounds. Pretty big. There you go, Dan. You can go release him into the water.
Release him.
Let's go release this beautiful, majestic fish.
Oh. Yeah. He's off.
There he goes. Get back to you when we get another one. Peace out, Holmes is. I thought it was, I have the drag on, like I have the bait caster, it's a 50-pound rig, and it was taking out drag like hardcore, because I had it like this in my arms when the fish got on. So when when the fish set itself, it just took out like all this drag. But anyway, that was the fight. Now it's just on.
We're gonna get the net.
So yeah, so it's like, you know, we've been just proved right time and time again. The fish are just bigger, you know. Later on, we're catching less, to be honest. You know, we're not, before we might catch up to 15 in like, you know, 4 hours. We've only caught, you know, we've hooked 3 now, and well, we've reeled in 3 and we lost 2. But they're just big fish, and this was definitely the coolest one the coolest carp that I've ever caught, just because that's the first time, like we've had to set the hook before, but that's the first time I've had the fish set itself while the rod was in my hands, and it just like it peeled dragged so fast I thought it was giant for a minute. Anyway, pretty awesome fish. All right. Okay, we caught a fish.
Oh, this one's pulling drag.
This one's pulling some drag, I guess. That means it's a good fish.
At least I'm hoping.
At least he's hoping.
Seems like I'm reeling in a lot of line.
It does. Oh, wait, stop.
Oh, is this?
You're hooked into a log or something.
No.
Yeah. Wait. There might still be a fish on. Stop. Wait, give me a second. Let like a little bit of line out. Hold that.
What the? Jesus.
I think you're gonna have to hand reel it in. I think there's... Here, reel in. I think you got it now. I'm still recording if there's a fish on here.
I think there was a...
There was.
Oh,
yeah,
right
there's still a
there.
fish. There's still a fish. All right. Daniel was hooked into a log or something, but the fish is still on. So I'm gonna get the net. Did it come?
I can just reel it back.
Are we? Yeah, that's. Bring it over here.
Why are these hard? I must be out of shape because these seem harder to reel in.
They're bigger. I think they've been bulk. We're later in the season, so they've. Oh damn, that was my fault. We're later in the season, so they've been bulking up way more. This is a bigger fish than what we normally catch, and so is that last one. These are pretty big fish. They're just fat. They haven't aged at all, but they weigh more. They've been eating more. We're doing catching some nice fish here. Right when we were about to be. See, look at that. That's a nice fish. Take him out.
Here. Yeah.
Daniel's catching all the fish.
Okay, yeah. Alright, we'll get back to you after he's unhooked.
Yes.
This is the heaviest one so far. Pretty good fish. We thought the bite was over, but they're taking us back by storm now, so ready to get back into the water here. This one, see, they all look about the same size, but it's just weight. Some of them just have, I think, some more fat than others, because they've been feeding the whole time. Anyway, good fish. There he goes. Alright, we got another fish. I hooked into it.
I don't know if you can see it, it's quite windy.
Daniel's gonna get the net and it's trying to go back over the line, so I'm gonna keep it over there.
I'm getting the net. I am getting the pliers out of the net.
Once again, pretty big fish. Took us completely by surprise.
We were laughing about Letty.
Oh
goodness! Oh goodness! Oh goodness!
Bring her in. Bring her in. Bring her in a little to the right. Bring her in a little. I can't even. Oh, this. Alright, here's the fish.
You can edit this out.
Up in this net. It is quite heavy for my left arm. Because, you know, I'm right-handed. So my left arm's going to be weaker. Ow, there's my left.
Nice thing about, I forgot to say, I totally changed the initial trot line setup. We hooked a fish on it, but it got off. And there were fish where you could tell it was hitting the hook, but the hook wasn't setting because it was too close. It was just a bad design. So I like to call this the Burns singular alternate hair rig because it's the exact same thing. There's just not a three-way swivel, it's just a barrel swivel. So this guy's actually not hooked.
Alright. Here's
Pretty
our...
nice fish. I think we figured out, it's later in the season, it's later in the summer, and we're catching less fish. I don't think they're feeding as much. But at the same time,
they're just bigger. They're like, you know, he's the same length as the one we've been catching, but they're just fat. They're nice, and I mean, they put up a good fight, even though they're only, you know, decent sized fish. So once again, another between 5 and like, you know, 7 pounds. We don't have a scale or anything, so we're just guessing, but back into the wild.
There we go.